We're seeing Mark Carney peaked at 53%, and now he's dropped down to 49%, and disapproval of the current government. His lowest point was 23, now it's 30%, so we're seeing a spike right here. We've got cost of living being the...
Oh my god, you guys, you asked for it, now you're getting it. Legal is finally tackling the Roblox Schlep situation. Now your boy Schlep was going after the child predators Chris Hansen style, but then Roblox banned him. The state of Louisiana is suing Roblox. Also, millions of kids are being exploited on the Roblox platform as cheap or free child labor using a centuries-old racket of company script. There's a lot of legal nuance in this story, so listen up. Are we horizontal now? That's harder than it looks. Roblox is a billion-dollar online playground and creative sandbox with about 400 million active monthly users. About 40% of those users are under the age of 13. The YouTuber Schlep earned a following in the millions by pretending to be a little kid and honey-trapping child predators in the game, and then exposing them on his channel to catch a predator style. He even uses images of Chris Hansen to confront his targets. But instead of celebrating Schlepp's vigilantism, the Roblox Corporation banned him from the platform, leading to widespread internet outrage.
Avengers!
California Congressman Ro Khanna put out a petition to force Roblox to do better by children on the site. And the state of Louisiana promptly sued Roblox, claiming that its claims to protect kids on the site amount to consumer fraud. So what is going on here, and are we maybe missing a broader point about legal online child exploitation? Let's start by talking about the Schlep situation. But first, okay, I'm not going to sit here in front of God and the internet and pretend that I know a lot about online gaming. But I do know that there are some very specific laws governing how websites have to protect underage users. So at the risk of becoming a Hello Fellow Kids meme, let's talk about Roblox. It was created in 2004 by developers David Baszucki and Eric Cassell, released to the public in 2006, and now has over 100 million daily users. Roblox is an online platform that allows users to create immersive gaming experiences inside the Roblox metaverse and then play around in them with other users they can talk to directly. It's kind of like Minecraft, but with Lego avatars and Technicolor graphics and millions of ways to spend money. The majority of Roblox's users are children under 16, and it takes just seconds for a child to sign up. You don't even need to give Roblox your email to create an account, although you do have to submit proof of age to access some of the age-gated experiences on the site geared toward older users.
Alright, this just showed up a few minutes ago. Exclusive for ages 17 plus games category. This shows up even before the popular page.
That's partly because, unlike a lot of free social media platforms, Roblox claims its primary monetization model is not hoovering up your personal data and selling it, although it does share that data with advertisers, which is totally different. Instead, Roblox's revenue relies on millions of microtransactions involving its internal currency, Robux. Users can buy Robux and spend them inside the game's ecosystem to purchase access to content made by independent developers, like digital clothing or cosmetics, or even full-blown premium games. Roblox was wildly popular before COVID, and after kids spent 2 years in their houses clutching their iPads as their parents tried desperately to get work done, it became ubiquitous. Chances are, if there's a kid in your life, 10 or under, what they want for Christmas is Robux. But all that is taking place in this space where there's almost no existing legal regulation at all. So it's probably inevitable that this would happen.
What is going on here?
There's a lot of sketchy people out there on the internet that you probably don't want knowing your home address, phone number, or the real names of anybody in your family who plays Roblox. And it's not surprising because data brokers vacuum up your personal data from all corners of the internet and sell it to anyone who wants to buy it. But you can fight back and take control of your personal data by signing up for today's sponsor, Incogni. Incogni removes your personal data from online data brokers by searching the internet, reaching out directly on your behalf, and forcing those brokers to take your personal info down. If the brokers resist, Incogni will take care of that too, because Incogni fights back. Those data brokers are the reason why, in the US, you can search your name and find a bunch of websites that will give anyone your home address, phone number, and extensive history. It's shocking how easy it is to find all this information. It also might be why you're getting so many spam calls lately or even had your identity stolen. I've been using Incogni for years. In that time, you can see I've been on hundreds of lists, some of which had a high sensitivity score, meaning the broker had tons of data on me. Luckily, Incogni completed hundreds of takedowns for me over the years. I do this myself, so thank you to Incogni for weeks of work and adding me to over 40 suppressions. And Incogni will continue to conduct ongoing removals because even if the broker removes your data once, they can collect it and publish it again. So if online privacy is important to you, give Incogni a try. If you click on the link on screen or down below, you can try Incogni risk-free for 30 days with a 60% off discount and get a full refund if you're not into it. And if you keep it, you'll still get the exclusive 60% discount so long as you use our link or the code LEGALEAGLE, all one word. So sign up for Incogni or we will see you in court. Roblox's users have long complained that the site does not adequately protect children from various abusive behaviors. Some of that is relatively minor. The site bans profanity, drugs, and the use of slurs through automated filtering and moderation. The trouble starts when Roblox players leave the site and interact via social platforms that Roblox has no control over, like Discord and Reddit. There are Discord servers and subreddits that connect players to condos on Roblox where avatars will hang out, shouting profanity, vaping, simulating sex, whatever, until the Roblox mods find it and shut it down. The website Fast Company describes digital gyrations, which are ridiculous if impossible to unsee. Thong-clad Roblox avatars twerking on stripper poles, beefy blonde avatars buck naked except for COVID masks, and enough crudely animated contortions to fill several volumes of the Kama Sutra should LEGO ever decide to publish an edition. The article by reporter Bert Helm tells the story of a 16-year-old he calls Kay, who struggled for 3 years, nearly his entire prepubescent life, to make a hit game on the Roblox platform, but never managed to stand out from the tens of thousands of new games that are uploaded to Roblox every day. There's that uncompensated underage labor again. So Kay shelled out 1,000 Robux on Discord for the complete code for a condo game, which would allow Kay to replicate it with a few tweaks each time Roblox's content moderators shut it down. He fired up a Discord server and a VPN, made a bunch of burner accounts, and loaded round after round of an illicit condo selling nearly 3,000 Robux, which he spent entirely on Roblox items. After a week, Roblox's servers identified his computer and hardware blocked him. Another 13-year-old was better at masking his identity and set up a thriving business creating similar naughty hangouts and hawking swag. He claims to have netted $150,000 a month in Roblox, or roughly $500, depending on whether that included Roblox's 30% haircut. I mean, it's a lot of work for a relatively meager payoff, and while you wouldn't want your first grader wandering into such a condo accidentally, it's hardly child endangerment. If anything, it's more like the old Chuck E. Cheese where you'd spend hours and hours playing arcade games in front of weird gyrating animatronic figures to win tickets that you could eventually exchange for useless crap. And just like the underground Roblox condos, you could even smoke at Chuck E. Cheese. R.I.P. in peace to everyone's favorite rat from Coney Island. But Roblox's critics say the problem isn't confined to kids doing normal kid stuff and trying to squeeze a couple bucks out of it. The site's moderators left games like Escape from Epstein Island up for weeks despite the obvious reference to the notorious pedophile, and those critics claim that the platform is rife with sexual predators who seek out young children and entice them to other sites like Discord or Snapchat or solicit child sex abuse material from children and pay them in Robux. They say that the platform doesn't do nearly enough to protect users from this predation, and there's at least some anecdotal evidence that that's true. Last year, Bloomberg Businessweek reporters Olivia Carville and Cecilia D'Anastasio published an article called Roblox's Pedophile Problem that told the story of a guy who went by the name Dr. Robotnik on the platform and ran a popular experience called Sonic Eclipse based on Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog character. Robotnik hired young kids to manage administrative and design tasks for him, paying them in Robux. Oh, hi again, child labor enriching a giant multinational corporation. Robotnik was also sending wildly inappropriate messages to children, often misspelling words or adding spaces to evade censors. Robotnik was outed by a YouTuber named Ben Simon who goes by the name Ruben Sim. Sim has his own complicated history with Roblox, but let's come back to that in a second. In 2020, Roblox banned Robotnik and referred the case to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, better known as NCMEC. Under the Report Act, websites have a legal obligation to report the presence of child sex abuse material or potential sexual exploitation of children to NCMEC. And by the way, while pornography is protected speech by consenting adults, children cannot consent to sex, which is why we will be using the appropriate term child sex abuse material, or CSAM, here. The law requires companies which discover CSAM on their servers to report it to NCMEC, which Roblox did, but it didn't ban the Sonic Eclipse game, which Robotnik just transferred to another user. Almost immediately, the Robotnik character made a new account and carried on as before. It was only in 2021, when Sega filed a copyright infringement suit against Roblox, that they shut the game down. Now, Roblox maintains that it's an industry leader in keeping kids safe on its platform. Its CEO, David Baszucki, told WBOR in Boston that Roblox is the safest place for anyone on the internet. But content moderation is hard, especially when you're doing it at scale. And Roblox's management team has also said at a development conference last year that it intends to grow the platform to 1 billion active daily users and 10% of all global gaming revenue. How does Roblox intend to achieve astronomical growth and still maintain user safety? Oh, you know the answer to that one. They're going to do it with AI. But don't worry, Mom and Dad, because ChatGPT is on the case, and coincidentally, AI is a lot cheaper than hiring thousands of human moderators because you gotta protect that shareholder value, right? Now, back in 2022, 1 year after the site booted Robotnik's original account, a 15-year-old girl in Indiana went missing. 8 days later, she was found in a filthy apartment in New Jersey, lured there by Robotnik, who was actually a 22-year-old man named Arnold Castillo. Investigators discovered hundreds of messages between Castillo and the child, including her saying that she wanted to run away from home. There were images of their two avatars holding hands and wearing shirts that said boyfriend and girlfriend. In September of 2022, Castillo was indicted for transportation of a minor across state lines for sexual activity, and in May of 2023, he pled guilty and was sentenced to 15 years in jail. Roblox said the incident caused it to massively beef up its moderation teams and revamp its safety protocols, but the Castillo case is definitely not a one-off. In 2020, a 48-year-old Kansas man named Clinton McElroy, who was already a registered sex offender, paid an 8-year-old boy thousands of Robux to produce C-SPAN. McElroy is now serving a 40-year prison sentence in Florida. In fact, dozens of men have been arrested for using Roblox to approach young children for sex or sexual imagery, and at least 6 of those men were apprehended thanks to a YouTuber named Schlepp. Schlepp is a YouTuber who claims that as a child he was groomed for sexual exploitation on Roblox. As an adult, he produced multiple videos that feature avatars claiming to be young children engaging with predators online. The interactions moved to different sites such as Instagram, Discord, and Snapchat, and eventually the predators agreed to meet up in real life, resulting in sting videos that Schlepp posts online for his 1.4 million followers. But on August 9th, Schlepp tweeted that he'd been banned from Roblox. He posted a cease and desist letter he says was sent by the company, claiming that he violated its terms of service by engaging in simulated child endangerment conversations, sharing or soliciting personally identifiable information, and directing users to move conversations off platform. The letter accused Schlepp of failing to immediately report suspicious activity to Roblox through proper channels, actively interfering with Roblox's established safety protocols, and exposing Roblox's users to increased risk. It threatened to sue him for breach of contract and violating the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act if he ever accessed the platform again. The CFAA is primarily a criminal statute, but it does allow for civil lawsuits against people who access computer networks without permission. On the company's site, Roblox's chief safety officer, Matt Kaufman, explained the decision to boot vigilantes off the platform. He says it's because they were impersonating children and actively seeking to connect with adult users. Those conversations mimicked inappropriate behavior and actively encouraged other users to connect on social media and messaging platforms, thus bypassing Roblox's own safety systems. Basically, they say that vigilantes like Schlepp normalize this banned behavior by wandering around the website, engaging in it. And before you ask, no, that's not entrapment. Entrapment is when the government induces you to commit a crime, not some hyper-caffeinated keyboard warrior. Roblox also says that it violates the site's terms of service to not report predatory behavior immediately, which is not what's happening when you're filming your interactions so you can find them later for clicks. Although the vigilantes would say that they do report the behavior and Roblox doesn't do anything about it. After the ban, Schlepp raced to make more viral content. He's now partnering with Chris Hansen, the former NBC Dateline reporter who hosted the long-running series To Catch a Predator, which filmed real-life vigilante sting operations, but for a national audience. Chris Hansen is stoked to shut up and play the hits.
Stay tuned. We're working hard on this project.
And Schlepp also hired lawyers, affiliating himself with 2 plaintiffs' class action firms, which together represent more than 400 individuals suing Roblox for harms they allege they suffered as minors approached on the website. Here's a recent case filed in Texas. It's clear that the lawyers are now circling the company looking for plaintiffs to sue Roblox based on various legal theories, including negligence, consumer fraud, and product liability. We also found this complaint Roblox filed against YouTube creator Ruben Sim for, among other things, posting false and misleading terrorist threats to discourage Roblox users from participating in in-person and online events, cyberbullying and harassing Roblox employees, accessing the platform after he'd been banned and attempting to upload a nude image of himself with only a lampshade covering his genitals. It appears that that case was settled in 2022 when Sim agreed to pay Roblox $150,000 to stay off the platform. And I guess now is as good a time as any to state the obvious that child predators are bad people and companies should definitely keep kids safe online. And if you don't understand that, a law channel is not going to help you. But there are a whole lot of legal issues that go beyond the question of who is the bad guy here. So let's see if we can't break some of those down. Starting with the banning of Schlep. Yes, the short answer is yes. Can platforms ban you? Yes. Can they do it for violating their terms of service? Yes. Can they do it for no reason at all? Yes. Do they have to apply their own rules consistently? No. And do you have any recourse if they don't? No. And the reason for that is Section 230 of the...
And he has a note on his chest, like,
What does it say?
close the door really fast.
Police are at the home of 40-year-old Alex Alfaro Castillo. His roommates had discovered him downstairs in a condition so shocking it left them reeling. As officers step inside, a toxic smell immediately hits them, and on the table, a mysterious note lies waiting. Together, hinting that something far worse is about to be uncovered.
Yeah, this is, you guys, this is definitely here.
What happened?
Is it okay?
Was it your chef?
No, just take a look. Sorry. Yeah.
That obvious.
Suspected gang ties and false motives, only to end with a dramatic police chase. Chase that lead directly to killing in this horrifying video. On May 26, 2018, officers in Herndon, Virginia were frantically called to this house on Forest to and cleared by footage of stolen shots and a scene that would hardly explain it. As police enter the home, they quickly see the loss.
What's going on? There's not a few on dinner subject, and it's no, we don't have a really bad noise. Okay. We talked yesterday and today, and he will pick up so
What does it say?
close the door really fast. Yeah, this is, you guys, this is definitely
That obvious.
I didn't see any power. It's not across his face, and then it's been across his chest, and like maybe it's actually.
If you want to get ad-free access to our unedited and uncensored patches, exclusive live streams, and behind-the-scenes stuff, join your culture with the Alt-Right and knowledge. Don't forget, get yourself something cool like your exclusive Air 1 t-shirt, only on FreshCook.com.
I follow you. How's it going? How's it going, man? Is there a Dave Noyes that lives here? Got a package for him you could see in the door. You just go right here. Sure. Do you work at all? Or?
Yeah.
Where do you work?
A couple different places.
Okay. Okay. Like what industry? You don't have to tell me where, but.
RVA, this, yeah.
Okay. Gosh, so you're both patient and at work. That's awesome, man. So, well, my name's Gordon. Sorry to meet you like this. Yeah. You got over here to talk to you about? Okay. Well,
But not that, all that.
okay. Okay. Where'd y'all meet her? Okay. Okay. Cool. How old is she?
Well, she's 15 as the first told me.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. So basically, you're going to be honest with me, okay? Because, you know, there's some videos on Telegram that people can send to you, right? So what's going on with that?
Stupid people, really.
Exactly, I know. None of them are your videos, right? They're just people, what people send to you. That happens. But how old are the girls that you send to?
So, well, 2021, so a little bit younger.
Okay, how young does it go? Okay, how many at work?
Probably 8, 10.
8 or 10? Okay. Sure, they just send it to you. Right, so, yeah, I got you. So what's happening in some of the videos today? 8-10-year-old. Things they 10-year-old things are happening. Okay, got it. And she's 8-10-year-old. Okay. Obviously weird. What kind of things do we have? Great. So when there's two videos that we talked about, that we so one of the videos, got it. Got it. How long have people been sending you this type of stuff for, man? Okay. How's it going, sir? Get the pickles. So, do you know, like, about how long it would be? Like 20 years? Like, yeah, so what do you think? There's some online internet stuff he got into. It's nothing too crazy, but, you know.
What's going on, I think, put the car up and they can try to clarify.
Right, right. Oh, it's just a group called Kid Protectors USA. We just make sure kids don't talk to adults. That's all it is. Yeah, yeah.
Before I lost mine, I now kept back.
Okay.
Right now, it's cell phone doesn't have internet.
Right, right. Okay, so you get a laptop or a tablet? It's a laptop, okay. What kind is it? Okay, is it Costco to it?
Okay, well, do you have to put it in the passcode to get into the laptop?
I'm putting one on right now.
Okay, but I'm saying, do you have to do that to get on right now? Sure. Okay, I got you. Okay. So I'm reading the chats right here. So mentions that she's in Baldwin. You mentioned that you're kind of somewhere over the rainbow. Where's that? Oh, I'm not thinking about that. So, yeah. So, basically, you look at happen. Someone found out you have to. Okay, so we look at it. You know that someone saying that I see. So, how many videos and pictures of little girls do you have? Now, I want to definitely find a way you're going to take care of and make sure it gets rid of, right? Okay, but you just today they have 2 videos to send. So where are those videos right now? You said they're in a file? What are the files? Okay, so how many files did that stuff you have on the laptop? So, you mentioned that you have other pictures of underage girls. What did you get rid of? A while back. How many did you get rid of? How many did you get rid of? How old those girls were? So, how old they look? I saw the photo of it. Make sure I just want to make sure your internet intervention to make sure you so would it was it? And well, that's good. That's good. Y'all did that. So, did y'all probably have pictures of little girls on there? Are those okay.
She didn't want us to be. There were conversations that they would bring before and she walked out of the bedroom and we had to take pictures.
Okay, so you're a little bit deviant sometimes. Hey, it's okay, man. I appreciate your confidence. I mean, my God, man. Man, dude, that takes massive, massive confidence to be able to do that. Okay.
We are always checking with
Well, I appreciate that, Dan, but you know, you can't be a helicopter parent 24/7, especially with it being 30 years old. So, sure. David, so we have a machine in the car that can be able to get those files off your computer. So you don't need it, I'm gone, right? So, do you mind getting your laptop? Is it cool if I go just for safety? They're not going to hurt you. Is it cool if I go with that just for safety? Thank you. Here's my phone. Hold on, David, if you don't mind. And one second. And obviously, Dad, you know, at any point, you know, you don't have to do anything with the laptop. outward? Okay. Well, don't do anything to it if you don't mind. So what was the code right there? Okay. Here, come on. Let's if you don't mind, can you put the tablet in airplane mode? Yeah, it's right there. And obviously, at any point, you tell me to kick rocks, kick me out, or anything, but okay. So just yeah, let's just go to the car if you don't mind. Let's just go. Yeah, how's it going, man? Gordon. He's just coming about into some internet stuff that he's getting into. Yep. It's not a. Just get that on out of here. Okay, we just do plots out of here.
This is my
Okay.
it goes off.
Okay.
Just take it down.
I got you. And you're a stepdad? Oh, okay. Here. Can we just do a talk outside? It's just cramped in here.
No,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, let's go outside, man.
I'm saying, you know, while it's walking away, yeah.
You can do whatever you want, obviously. Okay. So, do you mind just putting the laptop on the hood of the car right there? Obviously, at any point, you can take it back. It's up to you, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to help you out, so. Caution, on the way. Okay. All right. So, what app are you getting these videos from?
Usually like WhatsApp, look at all through, like same, WhatsApp.
Okay. So they're all sending. They're all sending. So they're sending you little kitty videos on WhatsApp and Tangy. Okay.
Well, they call it.
Yeah, here it's. Car's too loud. I can't really hear your car's too loud. Yeah. Okay, so they call them pizza videos? Okay, so how many years have they been sending you pizza videos? Do your best for me on this one, man.
I thought.
Okay. Sure. So what's the youngest pizza video they've sent you? I know if you're on all those apps, probably pretty young. So how long do you think it's gone? Okay, well, was it like as young as baby sometimes? What about like 5 or 6 year olds?
Probably 8.
8, 9? Okay. Is it only girls or some boys too? Just girls? Okay. Do they charge you for them or?
Well, it's usually send me like the demo video.
Okay.
And usually I put it with ass.
Okay.
And then it's like, yeah, oh my god, money.
Okay. Have you ever paid for anything like that? Okay, because we're gonna find out if you did. So just let me know now.
What?
Yeah, you can bring the phone. It's fine. Watch this. Oh, I'm over here. Automatic pant. Oh, over here. Oh, over here. No, just get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I can hold it. Okay.
That's good.
Okay. You want to put it on speaker?
Okay.
How's it going, ma'am? Hi.
It was going real good till this
Yeah, no, I understand. So basically, David, for the past couple of years, has been looking at videos he probably shouldn't have been looking at that have been way too young on the internet.
Okay.
Are you
He is 30 years old.
right? So are you like kind of aware of what videos like I'm kind of getting at with that?
Yeah, I
Got it. Yeah. So it's very, very young girls, and he is aware that those videos are probably not good to be looking at. So he does have some on his tablet, which he shouldn't have, and he offered a 13-year-old girl to send some of those videos to her. So right. So
Yeah,
just kind of.
he used to be pretty involved in that. I thought he had him here.
Oh, it was so he had videos of young girls previously.
What?
So he used to be into videos of young girls previously.
Yeah.
How long ago was this?
Oh. A year or two.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, here I'm going to give the phone back to your son, I guess. Here you go, sir. Here.
Are you recording too?
Yes, sir, for safety. Just for safety reasons. How's it going, sir? Good. David, there is child on your tablet that you need to delete, right? Okay. There are videos of 8 to 10-year-old girls on your tablet. Just 2. And what are they doing in the videos? Okay, and that's on your tablet, right? Did I touch your tablet? You just put it on my car, right? Okay. No. 140 consent. We're reporting the cops at this point, so.
They're in a public place. Okay, well, they're on a public area. They're in a public. Okay, so they're able to record at this point. Okay, so at this point, I don't see anything that you're doing is illegal recording wise. So if it is later, everything that you're recording will be.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think you want to plan this. All right. So we're called. We catch all that child across the country. We're from Houston, Texas, but we have 41 cases of conviction, including Wisconsin. We've not been involved in yet. And David was communicating, talking to me a 13-year-old girl online, and he wants to Telegram. He wants to see what does it. He can say, "I'll teach you that." But usually, when these people have Telegram, they're talking to an underage kid. They're probably going to be into stuff like child.
They don't want to go back there. I never want to go back there.
Okay, for quite a bit of stuff. He says he's not going to do anything funny, but he does.
It's always a loving relationship. It is.
It's not safe. I feel like there's something trapped in him.
So everything that she disclosed is a lie.
I don't know what she said. How would I know if it's a lie? If it's
He always says lie for me. It's a son of a lie. He's evil. He's the devil. He's the devil.
An 11-year-old girl comes forward with a shocking story, accusing her own father of unthinkable acts. He insists she's just angry about his strict parenting, but as she describes years of horrific violation dating back to kindergarten, the investigation hurtles toward an unprecedented outcome that will leave everyone stunned.
The sexual preferences, you like big, fat girls, or you like skinny girls?
Little kids, huh? Crying.
The following report is based on official police records, and the footage has never been seen before until now. On August 23, 2022, emergency dispatchers in Alamogordo, New Mexico, take an alarming call from the assistant principal at the local middle school.
911, where's your emergency? We have a student that has reported that she's upset because Dad has just come home and she just shared with a little boy that he has been raping her. She was on the phone with a little boy and at first was Snapchatting him. But then she's talking to the little boy right now, and his mother had seen the Snapchat message that she sent, and talked on the phone saying that her dad just got home and she was kind of freaking out. She does not feel safe.
Okay, how old is she?
She's 11 years and 10 months old. So they told the little girl that help was on the way. Father's name is Ryan, R-Y-A-N, Reese.
When Otero County deputies head out to the address, the landlord next door tells them that the situation has become even more urgent.
What are you looking for him for?
Does he have a daughter?
Yes.
Like a young daughter?
11, 12, yes.
Okay.
And they're looking for her.
They're looking for her?
Yeah. She wasn't here right now. That's the reason why I was going to walk over there and look for her.
Well, I'm here to make sure she's okay. I didn't know that she ran off.
The deputy finds Ryan Reese, the girl's father, who's currently searching for his daughter.
When was the last time you saw her?
This morning.
This morning?
She hasn't came home from school.
Where's
The dog's gone.
the dog gone?
The dog's gone.
Okay. Does she have a phone?
She does. I've been trying to call her. She's not answering.
Did anything happen that would cause her to run away?
No.
No? Did y'all get any type of argument?
Just this morning when I left for work. Maybe I'm angry. I told her I'll see you when you get home from school.
Have you had issues with her running away in the past?
No. Please, it's
Well, there's some concern going that talked to her. What information I got, she was here. Stop there. We'll just see what this is. See if he knows so far.
And then we still get the first step that they're looking for that his daughter.
So you said nothing out of the normal today, yelling any type of argument.
no. Well, last night she went to school with some clothes on, but I wasn't there when she went to school. I told her that outfit's not good. Don't wear that.
Okay.
I let her drop the trash. I said, tell her let's get when I leave by the night. So she was anything like that.
And you said she's never ran away before.
Yes.
My dispatch is trying to call her to see if she'll call or answer the phone.
They eventually managed to
We're calling to check on you and wanting to send a deputy out to talk with you to share the police. We got a phone call from your friend that you're I know you're scared of this, but we're trying to call you to speak with you. Can you tell me where you are right now? Okay, okay, but are you physically injured that you need a medical attention right now? Yeah. Okay, you with yourself? So the reason we're checking on you is your friend said that you were scared and saying and telling him what you're about to do. Right now, I want to just make sure that you can get the and then the rest of that is we can work out
While it's clear that this incident played a part in sparking his fire, it's far from the worst thing this young girl will share about her father.
Three people from my group, one girl did beat me, and then I told my friend, then I also told my boyfriend.
About things that have happened in the past, as far as sexually.
Yeah, we did this, me and my dad, it happened just a couple months ago.
Back at the house, Ryan is given an update about his daughter's whereabouts.
I just wanted to let you know that our deputy is speaking with your daughter. He is doing an investigation right now. So she is with Deputy Mitchell, who was here earlier, and she will be with him while he's doing this investigation. But he's doing his part and being thorough.
He just gets real quiet, and then he just tells me, and so I do, because he's going to start yelling if I don't, he gets all upset.
Do you believe that she was sexually active at all? Or, I know that it seems that she's pretty young age and you don't think that, but
It's hard to say the kids do at school or what they do at a friend's house, but all the friends I send it over to, they're all respectable people. I would never put them in a bad situation like that.
It's been happening for years. All the yelling and the
It's okay. Let me call some of my friends, okay?
you're at home with her, so you know her better than any of us would know her. So
It's always a loving relationship.
I never want to go out there.
Okay, so let's try to figure this out, okay? Just,
My dad, you are trying to call me.
okay, well, don't answer it. Just talk to my friend, Deputy White, so I'll see you so soon.
While waiting in the back seat of a patrol car, the young girl appeals to a higher power.
To the home, please. God, you don't want me dead. I don't see much inside. Hit me with a frying pan. I can't go into this. I can't. This is killing me. These people. This is nothing. This is nothing. Please. Please. Don't bring me back here.
The girl is taken to the Child Advocacy Center where a forensic interviewer will listen as she recounts her traumatic story of life with her father.
So tell me who you live with now. My dad. Your dad. And where does your mom live?
She says that her mom lost custody of her kids several years ago, but she's not sure of the exact reasons why.
And then my dad called me because the judge asked if he wanted me, and he said sure, which I kind of wish he didn't, or to be now. And now I was with my dad when I was about to turn 5, which that's when the sexual started happening when I was 5.
Before we start talking about that, because I understand that you did tell somebody something, and that's how you got here.
I told more than one person.
You did tell more than one person. Who did you tell?
I told my boyfriend, I told my best friend, and I told these 3 people sit at my group in my 5th period. But when the girls didn't believe me, which that kind of made me really upset, because that kind of issues, those are the things that you should be laughing about.
I agree. And when did you tell all these people?
I told them all today.
All today. And what made you decide to tell them today?
I can't take it anymore. I don't want to be there. It's not a safe place for me.
Over the next hour, the girl will share in shocking detail the horrifying secrets kept inside their home. But at the police station, her father tells an investigator that there's nothing whatsoever to be concerned about.
What kind of relationship do you and your daughter have?
We've been really close for the last 9 years. It's always been a really good relationship.
Okay. Have you had any problems with her in the past?
Yeah,
Okay, what kind of problems do you have?
typical parenting problem. Things that I don't allow her to do and things that I do allow her to do, you know. The dressing's one of them.
While there will be many differences in the stories Ryan and his daughter tell the authorities today, they do both agree that there was a tense argument about her clothing last night.
You know the torn up jeans that all the kids like to wear?
Yes, sir.
But they were ripped all along the crotch area. I mean, they were completely shredded. I mean, not appropriate for school at all.
And once I got home, my dad saw what I was wearing, and he said, that outfit must have made you look really bad and made me look really stupid. He also said, you look like a poor little girl wearing that, which actually a lot of people complimented me for this.
When I got home to work and I seen her in the clothes that she was in, and I told her, go change, take them off, and throw them in the trash. And as I took the pants from her, I made sure they were finished. I tore them, and I threw them in the trash can. And she kind of started to cry. She was upset with me because of being wrong.
He got really angry because he was drunk, and then he finally thought he wasn't drunk anymore, and then he started getting really angry at me because of what I wore, and then she just started yelling and yelling, and she said I have to wear this dress, which I didn't want to.
What were you trying to get her to dress in?
pants and jeans, a dress, anything that didn't have ripped up holes in it.
Okay.
She's got a whole wardrobe. I mean,
Does she?
yeah, her dresser's completely full of perfectly fine clothes. For some reason, she just chooses to wear stuff I tell her not to.
And I started crying because it really hurt. And he said, don't cry, because it didn't even hurt that bad, even though it did.
She tried to argue with me that the other kids wear them, and that it's okay, and told her no, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what kind of...
I yelled a little bit.
Did you?
I did. I yelled at her.
It's not a crime to yell at your child.
You know, what else can I do? You can't hit them. You can't do anything.
And he kept on saying, does your teacher, does your principal wear ripped jeans? And I kept on telling him no. And he said, well, don't you want to be the principal someday? And I said, no, I want to be a kid.
But she says her father never gave her that simple wish, and that he stole her childhood innocence in more ways than one.
He has threatened to take my life away.
Has he ever told you how he would do that? He just told you
He has a firearm.
Have you ever seen it, or does he just tell you about it?
I've seen it.
Is he supposed to have a firearm?
No, ma'am. He's not allowed to have one after the last incident that happened.
Brian's history includes a 2012 felony aggravated battery charge resulting from an incident involving the girl's mother.
So you're not supposed to be in possession of any firearms or ammunition, right? No. Is there any firearms in the house?
No. There's firearms in all my house. No. There's ammunition. No.
These answers will come back to haunt Ryan later, but the main focus of today's interviews isn't gun possession or a power struggle for clothing. It's about something far more serious.
Why do you think you're here right now, being interviewed by me?
Well, number one, because she ran away. You guys had to come find her, and I guess there was a complaint filed, or not a complaint, but a welfare check. I don't know if she was upset at school. She might have been. Obviously she was, because she was upset enough to try to run away.
Is there any other reasons why you think law enforcement would be talking to you right now? No. There's nothing that you think that your daughter might disclose to law enforcement that's concerning?
Yes, she does. No. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. That's what she said. I would have no reason to believe she would, but...
You were with your friends or your class today, and you were telling them that something happened, but one of them didn't believe you and that upset you. Tell me what you told them.
I told them, because they called me a HORE, and I said, I'm not a whore. And I kept on trying to tell them that, and it really made me upset. And I said, you don't know what goes on in my life? And then there's one boy that sits right next to me, he says, are you okay? Is there anything that goes on in your life that needs to be told? I said, yeah, maybe there's something wrong that goes on with me and my dad. And he says, has he raped you? And I said, that's what I would call it.
But what might have started as a spur-of-the-moment cry for help has now intensified into a major police investigation.
She disclosed some concerning things involving sexual things.
Okay.
Involving you.
Okay.
So it concerns me because I don't think my 11-year-old is not sexually active could describe things that she described that happening. Okay.
Yeah.
So you are a single dad.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what you're going through because I'm not. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's things that I'm not saying, but there's things that we might do because we might be lonely. You know, your daughter is a sweet girl, okay?
Yeah.
But I want you to be honest, okay? Has anything ever happened between you and your daughter sexual?
No, sir, not like that. Not what you're explaining.
What do you mean by not like that?
There's been conversations about what's affected.
Does your daughter have an imagination?
Mm-hmm. I'd probably let her watch movies. She shouldn't nothing X-ray. Yeah. Hold on, Steve, you're on that for a minute.
Yes,
she really is. Like I said, I explained to her what sex is. She knows what it is. She knows what male and female organisms of how to make babies.
Is that because of you talking to her about it, or is it watching YouTube and?
Well, me talking to her about it.
Okay.
How many times would you say that it's happened?
Happens almost every month.
Almost every month? Okay. So about once a month.
Maybe once or twice every month.
Once or twice a month. When's the last time it happened?
Maybe 2 months ago.
Do you remember what was happening that day?
All I know is that I was watching TV, and his voice always gets quiet and kind of talks softly before.
And what did he say?
He said quite a bit of stuff. Like he'll lay down and I'm just sitting there watching TV. He says he's not going to do anything funny, but he does.
And at this time, are his clothes on or off or something else?
On.
They're on. And what about yours?
They're on.
So do you go over?
I don't really get mad. Because if I don't, he will start yelling. And he will be mad the rest of the day. So I remember I was scared. So it's the same way as any woman could do anything.
The girl's haunting story doesn't sit well with the investigator talking to Ryan.
I'm trying to get why an 11-year-old would be so graphic and detailed in something that she says that happened.
I have no idea. I don't have an idea. I don't know if she's mad at me. I don't know if she wants to see me in trouble. I mean, I don't know.
But his daughter's story is far from over, and the details only grow more disturbing.
Has he ever touched any other part of your body?
Upper.
What do you call that area?
B. I just call them B.
B. Okay, and can you point so I can make sure we're understanding?
B.
Okay, got you.
So, nothing has ever happened between you and your daughter sexually?
No, sir.
So everything that she disclosed to an interviewer is a lie?
Well, I don't know what she disclosed to her, or I don't know what she said. How would I know if it's a lie? If it's, I'm telling you no.
Sexual intercourse?
No.
Sexual penetration?
No, sir.
It's never happened, ever?
No.
With your daughter?
No, sir.
So what she told us is a lie?
Well, if that's what she said, then yes.
Ryan's denial appears to be categorical, but his daughter says that there are items in the house that can back up her claims.
Where did he get the condoms?
Walgreens.
Were you there when he got the condoms, or you already had them?
He bought them himself.
He bought them. Okay. And where does he keep them?
He keeps them in the bottom drawer of his dresser.
In the bottom drawer of his dresser? Do you know what color box it is?
Black and gold.
A black and gold. And are they individually wrapped, or how are they?
They're in a wrapper.
They're in a wrapper. Do you know what color the wrappers are?
Black and gold. He also gets birth control at Walgreens.
He also gets birth control at Walgreens? What kind of birth control?
It's in a white and pink box. He once sold one before because I was with him, and so he just bought 2 water cases and just put it under one because he said like how his ladies don't look under both of them. He just said one, give them one, so he just kind of stole it. And it's like $50.
Oh wow! And when does he give it to you?
A day after.
The day after
the sexual encounter. He also has, those things that to tell if you're pregnant. He also has those. And there's also things like you clean that is bigger.
Vinegar?
Yeah.
Vinegar. I can't say that word either. It's okay. And what do you do with those?
You kind of squirt it inside.
And when does he do that?
After the sexual encounter.
When Ryan's confronted about these claims, however, he maintains an air of innocence.
So what kind of feminine products are inside the home?
Just all your pads or tampons, and I think, I did buy her a douche bottle because she had a urinary tract infection, and she just finished her medication for that. She went and seen the doctor, so she makes her doctor visits.
Ryan's daughter did tell the forensic interviewer that she was getting over a UTI, but that explanation won't work for the other products.
Is there any pregnancy tests inside the house?
No.
No.
Because there would be anything like that if it was from a previous girlfriend that I had staying there for a little while.
Have you ever bought the date after pill?
Yeah, I purchased them. Yeah, that was also for the same woman that I slept with.
What was her name?
Brittany.
Brittany? What is Brittany's last name?
It's a very promiscuous situation. I just call her Brittany.
You don't know her?
I know. I don't. I could probably find it somewhere.
So you never bought your daughter a pregnancy test before?
Wouldn't have been for her, no.
You never bought the date after pill for your daughter?
Wouldn't have been for her, no, sir. Please understand the severity of this.
Is there a reason why you're sweating as bad as you are right now?
The deputy's suspicions may be raised, but they're likely to grow more serious when it's revealed that this isn't the first time Ryan's daughter has made these allegations.
Let's talk about last time. Remind me of why you came in last time. I told one of my friends.
What did you tell your friend that time?
I said that my dad had been encountered with me sexually.
And that was when you were in 4th grade? Oh, so you were in 10th? So
I was having 9 or 9.
That time, did you tell me something happened? Tell me kind of.
No, I lied. I was too scared.
You lied and told me. So you told me
I told you that it didn't happen.
You told me it didn't happen.
That forensic interview from 15 months earlier was also recorded, and there's a dramatic contrast between that conversation and today's.
Would you agree with me that there are places on your body that no one else should touch?
Yes.
And if anyone else did touch them, who would you touch?
I would tell my dad.
That's what you would do.
You just called me so active on and never touch my daughter again. Because he's really concerned about my safety. But he's a good guy. He doesn't hurt anybody. He's just him.
It's just him. I can tell you're really, really nervous and on the verge of crying. So tell me what you're worried about.
Well, I'm kind of worried if my dad gets in trouble because I love him a lot.
I know you do. But I don't want you to worry about that. So right now you're not worried about anything except for dad going back to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And who told you he could go back to jail?
Nobody, but I just don't want him to go to jail. He's like, I just don't want to go to jail or anything.
He told you that?
Yeah, he says he doesn't want to go to jail again. And I said I'll protect him no matter what.
Now, more than a year later, Ryan's daughter has clearly had a change of heart.
I think he does belong in jail. What he's doing is not right.
Tell me what happened after you left your that day and went home. Did the police try to talk to him?
He was upset at me, but he was glad that I lied. He always has lied for me. He's not a safe man.
Unsurprisingly, Ryan also remembers the previous investigation.
Has she ever made any type of allegations in the past before?
There was a report by CYFD, and this has been over a year ago, about abuse. But the investigators came in, they looked at the house, they talked to her, they did the same thing, they interviewed her for several hours. They said they found absolutely nothing to him, and that was dropped. They didn't even make a return visit.
It remains to be seen if the current investigation will go away so easily, and there's certainly at least one person hoping that it doesn't.
I don't even care if I have to get adopted. It's just not a safe place for me. I really want an adoption of the way. I that's just not a safe place for me because I feel like if I go back there, he will kill me. He won't take my life. And the cops said I might have to go live there still. I might have to go back, but I don't want to.
You don't want to because you don't feel safe. You think he's going to kill you.
I just feel like it's not safe. I feel like there's something trapped in him, like the devil. He's not a safe man.
I can't believe that because I managed to close well, this has become and I don't know what she's told the investigators and why she didn't have a reason to do that, but I'm a little bit beside myself.
I never want to go back to him. I never want to go back. I would have to stuff away all my stuff. I'm not going there. Even if they take me back there, I'm just going to run away. I'm just going to leave again.
She's taken into CYFD custody.
As a third warrant is written for Ryan's DNA at the house itself. Unfortunately, the search will be made more difficult by the fact that Ryan accidentally locked his keys inside. Do what?
Somebody might be climbing through that window. Huh? You can figure it out.
After gaining access, the deputies know exactly what to look for.
So condoms that are black and gold, douche, pregnancy. Yeah. And then that was it. Because he only bought the pills when he needed it. And then the gun and ammo. I just photographed all of them.
Well, just take a picture of it. I don't know any part. If they're regular ritual and does crap like that, and it's all gone, you can't find the crap. It's either she's lying or put it in the car. So I gotta think I noticed it. Maybe trash can get something done. Not super professional.
The empty trash isn't evidence, but it does harken back to something Ryan's daughter said in her interview when discussing how he would dispose of the used condoms.
He always puts it on the bottom of the trash can. And so nobody finds it. And then if we throw away trash, we always take it across the road or Mesa Verde Village in one of the dumpsters.
While the investigators don't find much in the home to corroborate her story, they do find some items of interest.
We need to find some ammo and a gun case and everything else in that shop.
Yeah, that's all this. I used to have firearms when I was allowed to have them. It's what was left over.
It's left over?
Yes.
The police conclude the search, suspicious that there's no gun to go with the ammunition they found. The shadow of that missing gun looms overhead when they get a call from Ryan's landlord 2 days later, saying he's suddenly vanished.
He was here 2 days ago, and he doesn't show up anymore. The place was open and lost, so there's nobody inside the house. Everything is there. There, there's nothing being taken.
So, but these are his only vehicles, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And the door's open, you can walk in.
Sheriff's Office 1326. Call that phone number one more time.
Because, I mean, as a bad here for these humans, that was used yesterday too, radio priority.
Okay.
So I don't know. Man, this is here, so I don't know.
The biggest problem is we've talked to several people already, and so we know what you're telling us.
This is Justin Havens, making the worst excuse known to man to justify the murder but very soon, detectives will realize Justin isn't the only killer, all because of a video that caught Jamie's final moments.
You know who this individual is, right? You got that video. You recognize that? Is that me?
Now these two will turn on each other. Completely unaware their life is hard over.
When I look back, Justin.
I wasn't even supposed to. My brother, he didn't get
You're not here to tell us about much. We just want to get to the bottom of this and find out why everything happened.
On August 7, 2023, law enforcement in Spokane, Washington raced to the parking lot of a local business where 65-year-old Jamie Weathers was discovered lying on the asphalt, gravely injured from a brutal attack. He was rushed to a nearby hospital. Then, due to the severity of his injuries, life flighted to a major hospital in Seattle. Meanwhile, police checked local security cameras to see who could have possibly attacked a struggling homeless man who was down on his luck. What they found was the entire attack captured on video from several angles. In the footage, they could clearly see Jamie punched and hit over the head by the skateboards of 18-year-old Quentin Tyndale and 19-year-old Justin Haylett, teens living in the shelter just a block away. Quickly, the two were brought in for questioning. What unfolded is truly one of the most ridiculous interrogations we've ever seen.
The following footage was provided to us on Spokane.
I will say, maybe we'll not be able to honestly use long ways, but as training you have, you are behind me recording your training passions. Thank you. Do I have some napkins? Actually, your infectious disease. Any questions so far? So did you? No? Okay. Any questions? Just call or something. I'll probably be right here. Are you guys going to text me or just? I'm sorry, I should text someone else right now. You should have done a ring right here. Okay. Andy Gargan's name. She was on a police rescue. She's involved in the same case, right? Yeah, she only been there about a half hour. She should be. Nope. Okay. Thank you. Hi there. Sure. Your cue? Okay. Quentin's your name? I'm Detective Presto of the Police Department. You okay with everything here? Okay. You got something to drink? Okay. Well, obviously, we're in the police station here, so this room is recorded with video and that. Just make sure you're aware of that. There are some things that are going on that I'd like to talk to you about. Because of the fact you're brought here in a police car, I'm required to read your rights. Because, part of policy and that kind of stuff. So basically what these states is that you have the right to remain silent and you state can will be used against you in court of law. How old are you? 18. Okay. You have the right to have an attorney at this time and before answering any questions. You have the right to have an attorney present during the question. If you cannot report an attorney, you won't be appointed forward without cost before any questions are desired. Do you understand these rights?
In the room next door is Justin Haylett, who has already been read his rights. For the first few minutes, he's managed to seem like a kind, well-adjusted teen, using sir and hitting all of his please and thank yous. As you're about to see, that changes pretty quickly. Because for whatever ridiculous reason, Justin thinks he's capable of outsmarting the police. We're not even sure he'd be capable of outsmarting a rock. You're about to see why.
Any questions? My questions? Well, it's about what happened that night. The information that you know. Okay. So you're willing to talk to me? You know this? Okay. I just want to get out of it because I'm calling from detectives. I've had a bad issue. Okay, that's understandable. Well, what can you tell me? Well, tell us that this is done by the best his parents that I put my brother's just, I don't know his name. Who's the friend that told you this? Devin. Devin? Okay. What's Devin look like? I do not do sure things very well. Okay. Okay. So Devin came up to you? Yes. Where were you at? I was at yes. Yes, the younger door you spoke to. Okay. I was going there. Devin came up and told us what was going on. I gave my friends a heads up, and I was at home for What do you mean you gave your friends a heads up? I gave one of my closest friends a heads up on what was happening. I went inside to do my own thing, and he disappeared. Okay, what friend is this? I keep giving you. What is that? Classified. Classified. Okay. Okay, then what happened? I don't know. I charged my phone, charged my phones. I have one right now. And yeah. Okay. Okay. And why is the information classified? Because that's for you to know. It's for you to know. Yes. Okay. Well, what happens? I don't know. Okay.
Move over, James Bond. We've got a skateboarding delinquent with classified information sitting here. You have to admit, his loyalty in not ratting out his friend is impressive, even if his cringy way of doing it is, well, cringy. Unfortunately for him, Clinton has seen the bus coming toward him, and he has no problem chucking Justin under it before his interview even hits the 5-minute mark.
A lot of other people do, and it's all recorded on video as well. So, we've got a couple hurdles to overcome here. How can we help you remember? Because you seem like a pretty calm, reasonable person. And so it makes me think that something to do with that. Did this happen for no reason at all? Okay.
If I ever did anything that was obviously for a reason,
yeah.
like anything, or my significant other.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't portray me as a person that would just do something for no reason. Can you tell me what the reason was?
This man was, he was at a bus stop close to the shelter, and there was there was an older female, a young female there that stood in the same shelter as me, and they told me that he was doing that, and then, I seen him in front of Jack's, and Justin was next to him. And
how do you know it was him?
Because everybody told me it was him. The two young females who were there told me it was him. Justin told me it was him. And then
did Justin see him?
Yeah.
He saw him.
I mean, he said he did.
He said he did. Okay. And the other two females pointed him out specifically, saying specifically. Okay.
And then I started talking to him, and he said he was going to stab my girl. And my girl was standing right next to me, and he lunged towards my girl. I hit him with my board as defense, and he dropped. And as soon as he dropped, he just got knocked out. He wasn't bleeding. There was nothing. He just dropped because he was already high. Like you could tell he had just done something. He was high.
Yeah.
And I started walking away, and I looked back, and somebody else was on him and hitting him, and I told him to stop, and I just kept walking towards him over there. That's my entire side of the story. That's reading that.
Okay. And Justin's your brother, right? Your street brother?
Yeah.
that's what he said. He said you guys are brothers. He's your friend.
He's a really good friend. I've been calling him.
It's important to note that according to the only witness who allegedly saw the victim without his pants on, it was clear he was in extreme mental distress and didn't seem to understand what he was doing or the fact that he was in public. Footage revealed that just hours earlier, the victim had been jumped and had all of his belongings as well as his clothing stolen, which explains how he found himself naked in the first place. The only witness of the alleged instance made it clear to police that she didn't think anything should have happened to the victim. She had only warned people that he was there, so they wouldn't be subjected to seeing him. To her, it was evident that he was in the midst of a mental health crisis and had nowhere to go. Yet against her wishes, Justin and Quentin responded with violence.
So then what happened after you hit him in the head?
So, I think that's just very wrong. And he goes back and goes to and I told him to stop. And he just kept up.
How was it hitting him? And I sense a little hesitancy about this individual. Because you know who this individual is. Right? We got it on video.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I had him one time, and he had nothing. He just felt like he was getting back up. And I started walking because that's what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to hurt somebody. I wasn't trying. I was just trying to, I was trying to get him out of my way and teach him a lesson. I wasn't even trying. It wasn't my responsibility to do that. It wasn't my job. And I shouldn't have done that. But I look back, and I told him to stop. It wasn't, I didn't tell him to do that. I told him to. And I started walking, and I don't know if it's, I don't know wings. I don't know if wings started calling me. I just went back to the shelter. I wasn't trying to do that. I only wanted to hit him once. I didn't even want to hit one to hit him with my board. I was going to hit him with my hand if I didn't even have my board in my hand. It was just interesting.
So how many times do you see Justin stomping him?
I don't.
More than once?
Yeah, more than once.
More than once? You know, how many times?
No, I just started walking it. I didn't want to have anything to do with him.
Quentin couldn't have distanced himself from Justin more. In the meantime, Justin is focused on distancing himself from the crime as much as possible, even if it means telling some of the most ridiculous lies we've ever heard.
You're aware that there's video out there, right? Yes. Okay. And we were shooting that video. I was shooting it, yeah. Okay. Well, the problem is that you can be placed at the same time, right? I didn't have my shoes on at the time. You didn't have your shoes on at the time? What does that mean? I know you guys have that routine. I know that if you think we're updated and how you get my shoes on, you like somebody else put them on. Somebody else put your shoes on? My the shoes you're wearing? Yes. Okay. The biggest problem is you've talked to several people already. And reviewed the video. And so we know what you're telling us isn't the truth. I was showing that as like I told you. I don't just believe me. We got your video of you inside there. And we have your name roster. That's not being stupid at all. And I'm not sure what your part in this whole thing is, but I think we're going to make a bigger deal of this than what you think. He was also Oscar. What do you understand about that? What's the problem with that? With his hands on. Okay. Wagging when people see him. Okay. Do you know where this bus stop was? Yes, it's eating the big Leader Jacks. Okay. Like.
Beneath the surface of the internet lies a hidden world, a place where anonymity breeds some of the darkest, most dangerous corners online. This is the dark web, a digital shadowland filled with secret marketplaces, forbidden forums, and sites most people will never hear about. These websites aren't just mysterious, they're terrifying. In this video, we're diving deep into the most terrifying dark web websites, the ones law enforcement fears, hackers exploit, and ordinary people wouldn't dare to set foot on. Please like and subscribe. It helps more than you know. And now, let's get into some terrifying dark web websites. Cracked, Nulled, Silex, and StarguardDB. Do you need cracked software? Hacked accounts? Like that website? Well, for years, Cracked, Nulled, Silex, and StarguardDB were the go-to hubs for online crime, running wild in plain sight. Although, on January 29th, 2025, they disappeared. Operation Talent, a massive international sting led by the FBI and Europol, shut them down overnight. Raids, arrests, and millions in damage. Here's how it went down. Operation Talent was a multi-state operation involving serious coordination and efforts between multiple global law enforcement agencies of several different countries, namely the United States, Romania, Australia, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and Greece. This operation, like I said, was targeted on the following sites: Cracked, Nulled, Silex, and StarguardDB. These sites specialized in providing users with cracked software, such as Adobe products or video games, as well as selling information and illegal cybercrime services. These services could be anything from OnlyFans leaks to even taking down entire websites, doxing people, and it could even go as far as blowing up routers. These cyber criminals from all around the world would advertise their services, where they provide people with OnlyFans leaks for free, or even paid at times, paid high balance PayPal accounts, etc. These sites operated for years without being caught. That was until the 29th of January, 2025. The following banner was uploaded on all of these sites. This banner, as fake as it looks, is completely real. The operation resulted in the following. 2 people were arrested in Spain. 7 different properties were searched. 17 servers were seized. 50 different electronic devices were seized. And over 300,000 euros were seized in cash and crypto. According to seizure warrants unsealed today, the cracked marketplace has been selling stolen login credentials, hacking tools, and servers for hosting malware and stolen data, as well as other tools for carrying out cybercrime and fraud since March 2018. Cracked had over 4 million users, listed over 28 million posts advertising cybercrime tools and stolen information, generated approximately $4 million in revenue, and impacted at least 17 million victims from the United States. One product advertised on Cracked offered access to billions of leaked websites, allowing users to search for stolen login credentials. This product was recently allegedly used to sextort and harass a woman in the Western District of New York. Specifically, a cyber criminal entered the victim's username into the tool and obtained the victim's credentials for an online account. Using the victim's credentials, the subject then cyberstalked the victim and sent demeaning and threatening messages to the victim. The FBI. Nolt had been in operation since 2016 and had over 5 million active users. It had advertised several cybercrime tools, stolen login details, stolen IDs, detailed guides on fraud, and much, much more. The site saw over $1 million in yearly revenue, with one ad claiming to have the names and social security numbers of over 500,000 American citizens. The site operated on the ClearNet, but on several other channels such as Telegram, where the staff had confirmed the takedown moments after it had happened. They claimed it was a sad day indeed for our community. Son, an active admin of the site, had been arrested, alleged to have performed escrow functions on the site, and that his services would be used to complete transactions which involved stolen ID and credentials. He's been charged with conspiracy to traffic in passwords and information, conspiracy to solicit another person for the purpose of offering an access device or selling information regarding an access device, and conspiracy to possess, transfer, or use a means of identification of another person with the intent to commit or to aid and abet or in connection with an unlawful activity that is a violation of federal law. Put simply, he's in a shitload of trouble if convicted, facing up to 30 years in prison for all his charges. Some users online, however, believed these takedowns never stick, speculating that the domains are already back up somewhere else. RIP. I'm sure they will be back up within the week on new domains, or sometimes even the same domain. Yeah, this or it just means it's some other site's turn. These takedowns are kinda useless, lol. Some others, however, believe that these hacking forums were simply just scams. Man, in a way, hacking forums have been basically dead for years. A new one will come and continue to just be a scam, like these were. All scams. But, according to the FBI, this takedown did make a huge impact. Russian Anonymous Marketplace. Silk Road has had many successors, but none have had the longevity of RAM, also known as Russian Anonymous Marketplace. Inspired by the Silk Road's model of anonymous cryptocurrency-based e-commerce, it was a marketplace used to sell substances. It offered one of the widest variety of narcotics on the entire dark web, but with one key difference. It only served Russian-speaking clientele. After the OG marketplace of the Silk Road was shut down, many clones popped up and were quickly shut down by authorities. The biggest of them, Silk Road 2, lasted exactly 1 year to the day after Silk Road got shut down. For comparison, RAMP lasted nearly 5 years, from September 2012, when it was launched, until July 2017. It was actually less of an eBay-style marketplace and more of a Craigslist forum where buyers and sellers would find one another. Then, once a connection has been made, most users leave the forum and go to the other sites such as Off the Record to finalize the deal. Off the Record messaging is a cryptographic protocol that is basically an encrypted, fully secure version of the instant messaging apps we use today. It provides something known as deniable authentication. In short, that means that the people communicating can be sure of who the person is while messaging them, but it cannot later be revealed to another third party, in this case, police. While RAMP does provide an escrow system similar to Silk Road, most sellers and buyers prefer to use off-the-record messaging and then pay in Bitcoin or with the Russian payment service QIWI. Sellers are known to be very cautious on the site, triple sealing these substances or even going as far as to delivering them to a dead drop where the buyer can go pick it up from. Buyers can also leave reviews on the seller's pages, with one particularly happy seller leaving the follow review on a seller's page. In the nose, it is without foreign flavor, it is not bitter in scent, and it does not burn. So how do people at RAMP make money? Simply, they charge the top buyers a certain fee for their own private sections on the forums, $300 a month. For another $700 a month, you can pay for your very own banner advertising your product. And if you are really serious about this, and you want to sell some of the most potent substances to the extremely demanding Moscow market, you have to pay $1,000 a month in order to sell from their restricted quota list. The site administrator, also known as DarkSide, agreed to an interview with Wired, conducted on RAMP's very own private messaging system on Tor. DarkSide stays completely anonymous, not even revealing his gender and his location, set as a galaxy far, far away. He does apparently speak good English, though, and shared details in the above. He claimed that it made over $250,000 a year, but compared to its predecessors, that is much less, but also compared to its predecessors, it stayed up much longer. According to Darkside, 6 figures is just a regular income in the local area he stays in, wherever that is. He says, I can be perhaps considered a rich guy for a local, but you can't live well on your legal salary here. We ain't dollar millionaires, just upper middle class guys who do their job and feed their families. He is also supposedly planning to expand the site to include a payment system like Silk Road had, or even cater to the English audience, like similar sites did at the time. So, how did it survive so long when during that time, a Silk Road clone would be seized every other week? It may simply be that the Western authorities didn't want to target it. It caters mainly to a Russian audience and is also speculated to be hosted in Russia, where authorities usually turn a blind eye to online crime. In Darkside's own words, we never mess with the CIA. We work only for Russians, and this keeps us safe. We can't the whole world and remain safe. The site is also extremely primitive because it doesn't have its own payment system or any complex features, so it is hard to hack. Ramp also focuses exclusively on substances, banning the sale of weapons, stolen credit cards, counterfeit documents, and even legal, which is much more restrictive than similar sites. It also did not tolerate any political discussion at all. Darkside said that the politics attract extra attention and that they did not want that at all. While it did suffer from frequent DDoS attacks, it would always come back up until July 2017, when Russian police confirmed the news. They had officially shut down the largest remaining darknet market. In the same month, 2 other online substance markets similar to Ramp, Alpha Bay, and Hansa also went down. Even though many believe that law enforcement ignored Ramp, that was apparently not the case, as Russian authorities released the following statement to a Russian news agency. As a result of the activities carried out in July 2017, the largest Russian language trading platform Ramp, Russian Anonymous Marketplace, the largest in the Russian language segment, was terminated. The MVD has permanently implemented a set of measures aimed at identifying and suppressing the activities of members of criminal groups engaged in the distribution of synthetic substances, potent substances, and precursors in a non-contact way using the internet. The main efforts are aimed at suppression of substance supply channels and elimination of organized groups and criminal communities engaged in their sale. Darkode. If the dark web had a Wall Street, Darkode was its stock exchange, a high-stakes marketplace where the world's top hackers bought, sold, and traded illegal goods like stolen identities, hacking tools, and botnets. It didn't look like much from the outside, just another hidden forum. But behind the scenes, it was a slick, highly organized operation. If you wanted to hire someone to break into an email, grab stolen credit cards, or control a massive army of hijacked computers, Darkode was the place to be. This wasn't some messy underground chat room. It was a polished marketplace where cyber criminals dealt in secrets and malware as casually as people buy apps on their phones. Professional, efficient, and dangerous. Compared to its competitors, Darkode was generally regarded as the most dangerous by authorities, as it had the largest group of criminal hackers and represented the biggest threat to data safety. In fact, a prominent attorney, David Hickton, said that Darkode was the most sophisticated English-speaking forum for criminal computer hackers in the world, which represented one of the gravest threats to the integrity of data on computers in the United States. You can see the scale and impact this dark web criminal forum had. Started in 2009 by a coder named Acerto, it was originally created to sell their bot called Butterfly Bot. If you're active in the cybersecurity space, you might know this bot as Mariposa, which was a botnet used for denial of service attacks that was discovered in 2008. It would install itself onto unprotected computers and start monitoring for sensitive information, and then would propagate into other computers. After the computer is fully infected, it would contact the malicious actor's server and serve as a bot for their purposes, for example, a DDoS attack. It costs an estimated tens of millions of dollars to remove, and over 800,000 individuals' personal data was stolen. By the end of 2009, U.S. authorities seized control of the bot network, but unfortunately, the owners took it back and launched a revenge attack, which actually knocked out internet connectivity for many Canadian universities and government agencies. The following year, in Spain, the suspected leader of the group that created the botnet was arrested, along with 2 others. The creator of ButterflyBot, where this all started, Serdau, also known as Matthias Skornik, was arrested in Maribor, Slovenia, but was released due to lack of evidence. Around this time, Matthias gave up control of the Dark Ode forum to Krim, who created an exploit kit named CrimePack that was sold in the early days of the forum. Matthias was arrested again in October of 2011 and finally convicted in December 2013 in Slovenia for creating a malicious computer program for hacking information systems, assisting in wrongdoings, and money laundering. With nearly 5 years in prison to look forward to, you would think that Matthias was done with the internet. However, just a year later, he founded NiceHash, a cryptocurrency mining marketplace. He was detained yet again in 2019 in Germany when the FBI reopened the Mariposa botnet case with new charges. Anyway, back to the main topic. After Matthias started selling his bots, the forum grew very popular and turned invite-only. Existing members were given invites where they could give to whoever they want, and this only made Dark Ode a more exclusive and trustworthy forum. A few years later, in 2012, a new access model would be announced. There were now 2 layers to the membership. Level 0, also known as Fresh Fish, was given to the new members after they were invited by another member and were vetted with an interview with the admin. The next level up was Level 1. To gain trusted access, you would have to prove yourself, and then you could access the real meat in the Level 1 marketplace. Further on, the system was revised to ban Fresh Fish from inviting people. Level 2 was created for the highly trusted members. With Dark Ode becoming such a hotspot, it stumbled upon the bane of many forums: trolls. You might think that the invite-only model would have avoided this problem, but that only works if all of the members really care about the site. This is a criminal forum after all. Like most criminals, money can easily sway their allegiance. There was always somebody willing to give you an invite for some quick cash, and researchers would exploit this and gain easy access to the site. Obviously, the forum moderators didn't sit and watch. They began implementing measures such as mass demoting accounts and banning strangers and even targeting researchers directly. Hackers were becoming wary with researchers becoming common, and then in 2013, the downfall began. A user named Special First was voted as admin. They had a rather extreme strategy for rooting out researchers. Even though they banned people who invited them, researchers always came back, and Special First would start handing out bans to anyone with even the slightest suspicion. Soon, Dark Ode consisted only of security researchers, the FBI, and a very small selection of actual hackers who were highly trusted. Of course, a marketplace can't function without buyers, and Special First started basically removing the exclusivity of the site and spamming invites on regular hacking forums. They even went as far as sending messages to mailing lists from old hacking forums and even posting in the comments of the cybersecurity researchers' blogs themselves. The heyday of Dark Ode was clearly over, and just a couple years later, the site was shut down for good. Codenamed Operation Shrouded Horizon, the FBI, along with law enforcement agencies from 20 different countries, seized the site and arrested several members. Over a period of 18 months, they collected evidence for a variety of crimes, including, but not limited to, conspiracy to commit computer fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to send malicious code, spamming, identity theft, and racketeering, and extortion. Around the world, around 70 people were arrested, but this is obviously only a fraction of the users, and many of Dark Ode's frequent visitors are still out there. Just 2 weeks after it was shut down, however, the site relaunched on the Tor network with supposedly increased security, although shortly after, it was hacked and the database leaked. Doxman. Many of you are probably active on various social media online and follow a few internet celebrities. They usually stay anonymous because they want to protect their privacy against the many followers they have. However, sometimes that celebrity might irk the wrong person, get on the wrong side of a particularly vengeful community, and they might dox them as a kind of petty revenge. If you don't know what doxing is, it's basically revealing personal information such as their name, address, banking information, without the person's permission. Obviously, this is dangerous and also illegal. illegal, as the internet isn't exactly known for containing the most mentally stable individuals. People get death threats or get SWAT teams called on them all the time as some sort of prank. Of course, doxing is illegal in most countries around the world, but some dark web websites don't really follow the law. One website explicitly made for this purpose is Doxbin. Doxbin was a paste bin, which is basically a website where users can store text files and can then share a link to allow others to view the content. It describes itself as judge, jury, and executioner for all matters relating to Onionland. It first attracted major attention when one of the site admins, known as Intanger, hacked the Hidden Wiki. The Hidden Wiki is a sort of strange page through the dark web that contains links to many illegal websites. It also used to include links to sites that provided, which Intanger objected to, and so he hacked the website and scrubbed the site clean. On the Doxbin's website, he posted the following message, saying that he would support the Hidden Wiki if they A. don't link to sites, and B. allow community editing. Intanger said that he wanted to do something good while showing that the Hidden Wiki had terrible security and took its domain as well. Some people on Reddit didn't take this news well. Of course, they weren't defending existing, but instead had a problem with the inherent censorship. One Redditor wrote that it's about keeping Tor free. Another felt like that the supposed excuse for the kids would be used to control other things, such as the UK's ban. The UK planned to make websites verify the age of the user similar to what is implemented in some US states now, but the plan was cancelled a couple years later. And Tanger didn't really seem to care, as he wrote on Doxbin. What I love about these neckbeards complaining about censorship is that if someone put their docs up, they'd be following up my inbox with things like, take this down, internet freedom, etc. And I would just add the crime to their docs and make fun of them. If someone added a pro-NSA page to the wiki, they'd probably edit it, or at least spam the talk page about having it taken down. Yet, they're okay with links. After the hack, the Hidden Wiki came back, promising to not include any links to those websites anymore. In an interview with The Guardian, the site's admin, Nachash, says he does it to expose shitheads who had it coming. One of his first targets, or Patient Zero as he called him, was Jason Lee Van Dyke. Van Dyke is a lawyer from Texas who represented a student from a Texas university who was a victim of a revenge website called Pink Meth. He attempted to sue the Tor project, and Nachash was not happy with this, seeing it as an attack on Tor. The Tor project is how the majority of dark web websites are hosted. It is a network that enables anonymous connections, and therefore hides the people who use it. Nachash was also close to those who ran Pink Meth website, and soon after Van Dyke's personal information was uploaded to Doxbin. Another person who was targeted by the internet was Robert Whitney, who was doxxed after an argument online when he claimed to have discovered a security flaw for a coding website. People sent SWAT teams to his house, saying that they were in grave danger, but in reality, nothing was happening. In one case, police were informed that people were being held hostage at gunpoint. Of course, the police didn't want to risk it, so they usually do turn up heavily armed, even if they suspect it is a prank call. The site was eventually seized in November 2014, along with several others in Operation Anonymous. Authorities did not reveal how exactly they managed to take it down, but the main theories are that either the website had some security issues in its code, or it was a direct attack on the Tor network itself. However, ironically considering the site, no personal information of the site's admins was found, and no one was arrested. It is rather easy to take back control of a seized site on the Tor network, so the Doxbin site could come back up any time. This is because the admins haven't been arrested and still have access to the private key that controls the website and can freely access it and do whatever they want with it. But Nachash has no such plans, apparently, as in his own words. It's a 12-year-old skid shit show, and it's not worth my time. Deep.web in dread. For some of the websites we discussed before, some of the information sources link to a site called Deep.web. But like me, if you try to go to the site, you will find that it no longer exists. Deep.web is actually a news website dedicated mainly to the dark web and its surrounding topics such as the Tor network, cryptocurrency, and privacy. Major news about dark web markets would be posted here first. For example, the hacking of Silk Road, and then mainstream news outlets would cover it. The site even included comparisons between websites to help the confused customer choose the best site to buy substances from.
Technically, this is not illegal, as the site itself did not sell any substances or have any illegal activities going on. It was just a news site, right? It's actually not even illegal to post links to any black market sites, even if they themselves are shady. Like most free news sites, it ran ads on its website and had an affiliate marketing system. You might see this on some YouTubers' descriptions, where they post an Amazon link to some product, and if you buy through the link, the creators get a small percentage of it. Deep.web had a similar system where it would post links to dark net markets and would earn some revenue whenever a user bought from there. In an investigation by Israeli police, the site owners Tal Har, an Israeli who lived in Brazil, and Michael Farn, also of Israel, were raking in millions every year from these affiliate deals. The Department of Justice reported that 23.6% of all orders on Alphabet involved Deep.web, although that wasn't what they were charged for. It was the common enemy of every shady businessman in the U.S., the good old IRS. The owners were arrested for conspiracy to commit money laundering and both pled guilty to their charges and were sentenced to 97 months in prison. Approximately 8,155 bitcoins of revenue were transferred to shell companies and then to their personal wallets. It was worth $8.4 million then, but today it would be worth about $890 million. All of it was forfeited. After the arrest, the website was seized by authorities and only archives of it exist on the internet. But this is the dark web, and new websites pop up after its predecessor is shut down. Dread is a Reddit-style dark web discussion forum that is the successor of Deep.web. It rose in popularity in 2018 after Reddit started banning lots of darknet market discussion subreddits, and people needed a place to discuss their favorite Silk Road clone. To this day, it does remain online, and there's even a dedicated subreddit for its current status, r/DreadAlert. One of the biggest blows to darknet markets occurred on this site when a prominent site known as Wall Street Market fell. The site was going through a turbulent period when the owners committed an exit scam on the users, running away with approximately $14 million worth of crypto. Basically, an exit scam occurs when the owner of a business runs away with the funds of people who participated in it without ever delivering their product or service. This scam is especially popular in the online darknet market space, as most transactions are in crypto and you cannot charge back crypto like you can with normal currencies and banks. One of the WSM moderators, named Medellin, started blackmailing the site users in the middle of this as they were trying to leave. They would ask for 0.05 Bitcoin, threatening to leak their private info to law enforcement. A few days later, Medellin apparently had had enough and posted the IP address and login credentials for the WSM servers on Dread. Law authorities quickly latched onto this, and the site was taken down 8 days later, and 3 were arrested. Dread itself is not completely innocent either. Stolen credentials are sometimes sold on the site. For example, in 2020, a vendor known as Exploit tried to sell KYC documents, which would include IDs such as driver's licenses. They were selling 100 documents for $10 and even offered bulk discounts. In an independent investigation by CCN, they got access to a few free samples, and they seemed to be legitimate KYC verification documents for Binance, a popular cryptocurrency marketplace. However, Binance is known to have very good security practices, and supposedly no leak had occurred, so they may be fake. Dread also has in-depth guides on how to manufacture substances. In one of Dread's versions of subreddit's Substance Manufacturer, you can ask questions for every step of the process. The only rules are no sharing personal information, no revealing the source of your raw materials for your chosen substance, and strictly no selling substances. In darknet markets, another kind of subreddit on this site, you can find reviews of the most popular markets, so you can be sure that you won't be getting scammed. XSS. Russia is known for their dodgy internet, and the amount of cybercrime that takes place there is absolutely unreal. But there are several hidden Russian sites that have come to light recently, all of which were only accessible through the Tor network. These sites specialize in ransomware, zero-day exploits, illegal product trade, and a lot more. One of the oldest sites is Exploit. This website has been home to underground black hat hackers since 2005. They help other users in social engineering, finding and exploiting vulnerabilities, and much more. If you don't know, social engineering, put simply, is using information to manipulate and lie your way to defraud someone into doing something. Zero-day vulnerabilities are vulnerabilities in company systems, which is unknown to the company themselves. People will use these exploits until eventually someone from the company finds out and they patch it. That's when these hackers will find a new zero-day vulnerability and exploit that. Seeing as this was one of the oldest hacking forms out there, to gain access you either had to pay a $100 entry fee or have a good reputation on other forums and have a good history. This made it a closed forum, and this was done to ensure the security of the site, that not anyone can simply come and go as they please. Except in 2021, Exploit faced a breach when an intruder gained access to a server that protected the forum from DDoS attacks. This was a targeted attack that took down 4 other sites. But this then links to Ramp, which we talked about earlier. People flooded to Ramp after Exploit and another site was taken down. As mentioned before, Ramp was shut down in 2017, but Ramp 2.0 came to life in 2021, and the only way to gain entry, you had to be a reputable user of XSS or Exploit for over 2 months, which is now impossible considering both sites are shut down. This turned Ramp 2.0 into a retroactive cybercriminal community for those who could prove they are who they say they are, allowing only legitimate individuals into the site. What is XSS? Similar to Exploit, it's a closed forum which is more centered towards Russian cybercriminals than being easily accessible for most cybercriminals, which was unlike Ramp, which offered the site in Russian, Mandarin, and English. To gain access to the site, you simply create a new account, answer a few questions, and boom, you're done. Sounds pretty easy, right? This doesn't sound much like a closed forum until adding the fact that an admin from the site approves your request. Depending on your credentials and your answers to the questions they give, they can either accept or reject you for any reason. If you're granted access, though, you'll be able to take part in discussions involving credential access, exploits, and valuable zero-day vulnerabilities lacking any security patches. The site would go to extensive measures to protect their users, though. If you're allowed in, IP address logging would be disabled, and you would have truly encrypted private messaging systems. Until 2021, ransomware topics ran rampant on the site. After all, most of these people wanted to make a quick buck, or well, in this case, a few thousand. But in 2021, these topics were banned by the admin, likely due to the government cracking down on sites like these. And so they took this measure to prevent their site from being put in the crosshairs. A lot of these sites have turned to Telegram to conduct their business. Famous for enforcing free speech, Telegram lets almost anything and everything slide, making it the #1 place for criminals to communicate. It also allows for a higher level of privacy, as while you do have to link a phone number, any spoofer can be used to link a fake number, create an account, hiding literally all your info. And alright guys, that wraps up some terrifying dark web websites. This was the second installment, so if you guys haven't seen the first one, please go check that out. That video is doing very well, so let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed this one, and if you did enjoy this one, I'm sure you'll enjoy other videos on this channel, so check them all out. And also comment down below if you'd like to see another installment in the Dark Web Website series. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps so much. And this was Snook, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
This is Democracy Watch. Mark, we have some major breaking news that just broke right now thanks to you. Can you explain what you and your team just did in court?
Yeah, so my law firm earlier today filed for a preliminary injunction in the state of Texas to block the map that they just enacted from being used in the 2026 election. This is going to be fast-tracked. We are going to do everything we can to push this as fast as possible, working with the National Redistricting Foundation, our partners in this. We are intent on not allowing this illegal, unconstitutional map, spearheaded by Donald Trump, executed by Greg Abbott, to go into court.
So explain real quick what you mean by fast-tracked and what the preliminary injunction would do in this case.
Yeah, so what the preliminary injunction would do is simply say the new map can't be used in 2026. They'd have to use the existing map, which, by the way, is already a Jeremy, right? I mean, like this is not, if you're a Republican in Texas, the current map you live in was put in place for you to help you and to disadvantage minority voters. But it is much, much preferable to the new map, which is a grotesque, obscene map. And so the preliminary injunction, if granted, would say that for 2026, the existing map, not the one that was just passed by the legislature, would have to be used. In terms of fast, look, we are moving as fast as humanly possible. The map was passed, as you know, in the middle of the night, about 2 a.m. on Saturday morning. By 8 a.m. Saturday, my team was already on file with a new lawsuit to challenge the map. Now here we are on Sunday, and already we have filed the first preliminary injunction in this case. And there is a status conference that the judge is going to have on the 27th to set a hopefully a very fast schedule to determine whether this preliminary injunction gets put in place.
Okay, so on what grounds did you file this preliminary injunction, this request for a preliminary injunction?
Yeah, so it's basically, two big buckets. The first are very, very well known to you and to this audience and to the Democracy.com readership, which is that we claim, and I think pretty persuasively, I'm going to be interested to see how Texas goes about defending this, that the map they drew was drawn with the intent of discriminating against minority voters, that it was a racial gerrymander. It was set out to with the avowed purpose of dismantling districts to harm minority voters. So that's kind of bucket one. And also in that bucket, that it also violates Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. For that very reason, it has the effect of harming minority voters. The second set of claims are to try to, frankly, correct or to have the court make clear that existing Supreme Court precedent does not allow Texas to mid-cycle redistrict simply for the sake of enacting a racial and partisan gerrymander. That the precedent that the mainstream media and the legacy news outlets and the state of Texas keep pointing to that allow for mid-cycle redistricting really did it in a very unique circumstance where a court had drawn the map and the legislature was getting its first shot to draw its own map for the cycle. Here, that is not the case. Texas already had its first shot in drawing the map, which is the existing map.
Now, is the difference between Texas and California, both of which are engaged in this mid-cycle redraw now, would the difference here be that one has their maps that are expressly looking to violate Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act because they won't be in compliance with Section 2. They'll have these minority districts that are being dismantled expressly so that they are no longer minority districts versus what's happening in California, which is that even in the new maps that have been introduced, everything still satisfies all the requirements to remain Voting Rights Act compliant.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Look, the Constitution does not allow for the state of Texas to intentionally discriminate against minority voters. It's ironic because it is the Trump administration and Republicans that are running around saying we need to, not use race in all kinds of ways. Well, here we know from the letter that was sent from the Department of Justice and the words that were uttered by the governor himself and members of the legislature that their redrawing of this map, in their words, were to effectuate the dismantling of districts on the basis of race. I mean, that's why they said they did it. So that's one thing that's very different than Texas. The second is, as you point out, that the effects of what they have done, regardless of the effects of what they've done, violate Section 2. And what people need to understand is that one of the reasons why Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act is so important, why it has played such a unique role in protecting minority voting rights, particularly in redistricting, is that it does not require intent. It only requires the effects. Okay, that was part of the 1982 amendments that Ronald Reagan signed into. This used to not be a very controversial proposition, that if you are drawing districts that are dismantling minority voting rights, you're taking away, Latino or Black opportunity districts, that if you were having the effect of increasing their ability to elect, where you have histories of discrimination, which undoubtedly is true in all of the states we're talking about, Alabama, Louisiana, or here in Texas, that if you're having that effect, you violate Section 2. And that's the reason why you saw, in the last few years, judges appointed by Donald Trump striking down these maps. And that's why it's important that people focus on Section 2 as an important tool. And as you say, it is one of the huge differences between what's going on in California versus what's going on in Texas.
A quick note for everybody watching right now. I've been especially focused on people who are not just saying the right things, but doing the right things. The people who are presenting themselves as the fighters here. Mark filing this lawsuit, being one of the most vocal voices in favor of fighting back right now is a testament to exactly that. So one small step that we all can take to support his work, completely free, is to subscribe to his YouTube channel, Democracy Docket. That will not only show some support for him, not only elevate his voice, but also give an incentive structure for other folks to have that same sense of fight that he's showing right now. So I'm going to put the link on the screen and also in the post description. If you are not yet subscribed to his YouTube channel, please subscribe. Again, it's an easy step that we can all take to show some support for what he's doing. Mark, notably, you filed this lawsuit before the maps have even been signed into law by Greg Abbott. We know that it's already worked its way through the state legislature, but they haven't been signed yet by Greg Abbott. And so what was the rationale here for opting to do this now as opposed to waiting for the whole pomp and circumstance of him actually going through with the actual signing?
Look, time is of the essence. Right, we have a crisis going on right now in the state of Texas. We have a crisis going on around the country about democracy. But there is a five-alarm fire going on in the state of Texas, where Texas is trying to do two things. They are trying to enact these unconstitutional illegal maps, and at the same time, then to run up the clock and say it's too late to do anything for 2026. So we are intent on moving as fast as humanly possible. And, just speaking for myself personally, not necessarily for the lawyers who are involved in this case, the clients, I just don't think we can afford anymore as Democrats or as progressives to stand on pomp and circumstance. Greg Abbott has made clear he's going to sign this map. He called the special session to do Trump's bidding. He has been clear this is the case. And the idea that somehow we as Democrats or we as progressives should be giving the benefit of the doubt to ceremony and protocols and all that, to me, is a bunch of garbage. It is time that we fight as hard as they do. It is time we use every tool available. And if that means bringing lawsuits as quickly as humanly possible, you know what? I'll bet Greg Abbott, here's the deal. You say, if you agree that you're going to veto this map, I'll apologize on behalf of my law firm for filing this before you sign it. But we all know, Greg Abbott, you're a coward. You are a coward. You bowed to Donald Trump. You are a coward when you thought you could intimidate the Democrats in your state. You guys were cowards for shutting down the filibuster in the Senate in violation of your own Senate's rules. And you're too much of a coward now. You're going to sign this illegal map, and then the courts should hopefully do what needs to be done to protect the right of voters in your state, something you don't have the courage to do.
Mark, is there some concern that Greg Abbott will see these maps passed by the legislature and not move immediately, but instead sit on these maps, wait weeks or even months, and he'll do this whole game where he'll cosplay, do some political theater where he says, we're just, making sure that this is exactly what we want to do. We're just leaning into this a little bit. We're figuring it out. We're conferring with our lawyers, and then it happens. And then he finally just deigns to sign them very close to the election, where then legal challenges wouldn't be able to apply because of the same principle that Republicans always rely on, which is the Purcell Doctrine, this idea that you can't make changes too close to an election because it would be too cataclysmic, too chaotic before the election, which is, by the way, the same doctrine that they've relied on in Alabama, in Louisiana, in North Carolina. And so while he knows to expect these legal challenges, like the one you just filed today, that would kind of be his maneuver to get around it, to undermine those legal challenges before they actually kick in. And so is that what you're trying to evade here by virtue of filing this even before he's gone ahead and signed them, knowing full well that it's his open, public, blatant intention on signing these maps into law?
Look, there's a status conference for a federal judge, or actually this is a three-judge panel, but for a federal judge this week. And that judge is going to want to know from the state of Texas, what are they doing? And so, I think the court is wise to the gamesmanship that can go on.
Yeah.
And good for judges, not just in this case, but around the country, who are understanding what the Trump playbook is, what the Republican playbook is. So Greg Abbott tried to do that. We certainly have confronted that elsewhere. And look, I'll be the first to admit, in the past, in some of the laws that were passed after the 2021 and all those voter suppression laws, some of the redistricting cases, you're exactly right, where you saw Republican governors sit on it and run the clock. We sat by and we're like, well, the governor, they're looking at it or whatever. It's bullshit. They're not looking at it. Greg Abbott has said that this is the map he wants. Greg Abbott is the reason why we're here. So you know, I think that more lawyers, more clients need to be moving aggressively and put it on them. Put it on them to come into a federal court and say they're not sure if this is in fact going to be signed. That would be some news for me.
When you're in the courtroom and you're confronted with these judges, is it enough to point to his past statements, kind of affirming this whole process and pushing the legislature to move forward with these maps? Is that enough to be able to say, okay, even if he hasn't signed them into law yet, that functionally this is what he's going to do, and so we can still proceed as if there's harm without even waiting for the official process of him signing this into law, which of course we all know he can sit on for months to actually evade any legal accountability.
Look, I think the judges can do a number of things. Number one, they can say, look, let's schedule everything, let's get discovery, let's do whatever we need to do, and we'll then wait until he signs it to have the final. They could say, we'll have the hearing, and we just won't rule. And if he doesn't sign it, then we never need to rule. Like, there are a number of ways that the court can sort this out. The fact that there's a scheduling conference, I think, is a good sign. I think actually Greg Abbott is going to be under enormous pressure here from his own base to not look weak. I mean, the Republicans, they are, you know, these days very weak across a number of vectors. But I think he's going to feel a lot of pressure not to look weak. I think he's probably going to be under some pressure, frankly, from his own side, from Ken Paxton, who is, after all, one of his rivals, who is running for Senate, and who is not going to want to stand up in court and say, we don't know what we're doing, right? Like, Ken Paxton is going to be pushing this process forward. So I'm kind of optimistic that that's not going to happen. But again, like, you know, our goal is to move the process as fast as we possibly can, understanding that the court will set the parameters for what they feel like they can or cannot do where Greg Abbott is in this case.
Mark, it's important to note that all of this is being done to counteract this step by Donald Trump, which is to rig the map in Texas, because he felt entitled to 5 more seats there. And of course, we know that he's in conversation with Republicans in Missouri, in Indiana, and in Florida, all of which are very likely going to redraw their maps in the next couple of weeks or months, so that they can get their pets on the head by Donald Trump. And so, what would your message be to the few people within the Democratic Party, these few governors, these few state legislatures, that can actually use the tools at their disposal to fight fire with fire, that we haven't yet seen movement from? I mean, we've seen movement from Gavin Newsom and these California Democrats to their great credit, and there would have been a million reasons for them to be able to say this is too hard, and instead of finding some excuse to say no, they figured out a way to say yes. But that's the only state thus far that we've seen concrete action from. And so in light of that, what would you say to the other folks, those few Democrats out there who have the power to actually counteract what the Republicans are doing?
Well, a couple of things. First, I just want to say to those Republican governors, take a lesson from Texas. If you act and you do anything that violates the law or the Constitution, you're going to get sued. That's not a threat. That is a promise, and I don't believe it. Okay. Now, as to the Democratic states, look, you and I did a video before it was fashionable, like before, you know, anyone else, in which we talked about this, and I said that very clearly. I thought Democrats ought to put 30 seats on the table.
Yep.
Like, we ought to. My original hope for California was not 5 seats; it was 9 seats. You know, I mean, and by the way, I give the governor credit because he has to balance, you know, the maximalist approach with the ability to get something done, and as you say, he has to get it through a popular vote in November. So I give him all the credit in the world there. But, you know, it's not just, in my view, a handful of states. I mean, any state where Democrats control the process, and, you know, I would include there, you know, not just, you know, New York and Illinois, which are oftentimes talked about. New Jersey is the Democratic legislature. Colorado is the Democratic legislature. Oregon is the Democratic legislature. Washington State's the Democratic legislature. Maryland's the Democratic legislature. State I keep talking about, Virginia, which right now has a Republican governor, but after the off-year elections, you know, come November, Democrats are going to take control of the governor's mansion there and control the process. I'd like to see Virginia be on the table. It's my home state, and I'll be continuing to push that. So to me, if you are a Democratic legislator, and you're in a state with Democratic governor, you know, I don't know the current count right now in Minnesota, whether it's possible there, but if you're a Democratic legislature with a Democratic governor, you need to be finding a way not to list the reasons you can't, but to brainstorm the reasons you can.
Yeah.
You know, that is the thing. Now is the time for creative politics and also for political will. now is the time to do the things that are not easy, but the things that are hard. I am sure that what's happening in California is not politically easy. It is politically hard. But that is what we have to be doing and looking to be doing in every state where Democrats control the process. And here's why. And I want everyone to listen to the why, okay? Don't just take the what, get the why. Because if Democrats came forward and said, we have a plan in X number of states. I think I had the number at 30 seats in 7 states. But whatever it is, if we come forward and say, this is what we're going to do, then those Republicans in those states become the advocates to the Texasans, to the Floridas, to the Missouris, to the Indianas not to go forward.
Yeah.
Right? They still have a chance to climb down, but they're not going to climb down because we are telling their legislatures to climb down. They're not going to back away from doing Donald Trump's bidding because Gavin Newsom is doing 5 seats to offset Texas 5 seats. They're going to back away because the Mike Lawlers, who's in a marginal seat in New York right now, because the Republican in the 1 seat in Maryland, the
Andy Harris,
Republicans in the seats that they have in Illinois, right? The Republicans in the seats in New Jersey, the Republicans in the seats in Virginia, that they are going to be the ones who are going to be the best lobbyists.
Yep.
Right? They're going to be the ones who go to those legislatures and say, I am a Republican member of Congress, don't do this. It's going to be bad. And so that's why I feel like this is important, because I think if we do that, then actually it may not be necessary for any further gerrymandering to take place on the Democratic side, because the Republicans will see that there is a hammer, not a feather, awaiting to hit them over the head if they go forward.
Right. I think that's the perfect point. It's not only is it not going to be the Democrats who are going to shame Republicans into doing the right thing, but in fact that might further polarize them in the opposite direction. You have Democrats yelling at them not to gerrymander, and you've got partisan Republicans, and they hear that. What are they going to do? They're going to further gerrymander, because what's bad for Democrats is going to be inherently good for Republicans. But when we start redrawing those seats out, and now it's not the Democrats lobbying Mike Johnson, now it's Kevin Kiley, now it's Andy Harris, now it's the rest of the Republicans in the delegation in Illinois, and the rest of the Republicans in the delegation like Mike Lawler and Anthony Esposito in New York. Now it's these people who are actually going to lose their jobs. They're going to be a hell of a lot more persuasive to Mike Johnson than any Democrat is going to be. So that's an excellent point, and just one more reason amid all of this chaos, the Democrats should start fighting with fire and get aggressive here. Second only to the fact that if ever there was a moment to expend your political capital that you have spent weeks, months, years building up, this is it. I mean, this is existential, not just for the Democratic Party, but for democracy more broadly. If Democrats are relegated to the permanent minority, there is no way back from that. And so if your political issue is climate change, if it's healthcare, if it's reproductive rights, if it's unions, if it's jobs, if it's the minimum wage, whatever it may be, all of that relies on Democrats having the ability to be able to gain power. That's foundational. And so if we're not able to do that, then all of our agenda stops in its tracks. And so if ever there was a moment to expend that political capital that you built up, it's right now.
Right. But the other thing is that history teaches us that oftentimes the spending of capital grows capital, whereas the preservation of capital shrinks it.
Yep.
Like the number of politicians who have sat on their political capital only to watch it disappear are legion. And the number of politicians who we thought were spending all of their political capital but actually grew it is also really noticeable. I mean, you have cited some statistics which I think are pretty remarkable about Governor Newsom, who has spent capital, but has actually managed to build capital
Correct.
as a result. And I think that what every Democrat needs to understand is that your voters want to see you fight. Actually, even not your voters, right? Like people who are not that tuned into politics, they want to know whether you are someone who is going to fight for them. And the best way to show that you're willing to fight for them is to show, first of all, you're willing to fight for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're not willing to fight for yourself, why would anyone think you're going to be willing to fight for them? So I actually think this net would probably expand the capital that a lot of Democratic electeds have.
Correct. And the point that I was making, we were speaking in a different video about this, but Gavin Newsom has gained, I think, roughly in the last few days, raised about $8 million because he has taken forward-leaning posture. His polling has exploded. Even how people are perceiving him ahead of 2028. The likelihood that he becomes the front runner is more than doubled in just the last couple of weeks because he's taken this fighter posture. And I think that's what people are looking for, especially in a moment where we're starved for it. And so, look, there's a Democratic base that is pounding you over the head with this idea that we are looking for leadership, we are looking for fighters. And at this point, it's just up to these Democratic governors and these Democratic state legislatures to listen to what their own base is telling them that they want. With that said, again, there is nobody who is better exemplifying that fighter posture than you and your team. This lawsuit, again, is a testament to exactly that. So for everybody who's watching right now, to elevate Mark's voice, to help him grow his voice in this ecosystem, please make sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel, Democracy Docket. I'm going to put that link right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. You can also subscribe to this channel. I'll put that link on the screen as well. And please help elevate these voices and grow this progressive media ecosystem. I'm Brian Teller Cohen.
I'm Mark Elias.
This is Democracy Watch.